Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wellington Burns, my counterpart, Savon Morris. How's it going, man?
I'm tired, man. I'm
I
sleeping.
feel you. But we're here.
We're brought to you by Nas Energy Drink.
Oh, man, we finally got the sponsor.
I wish, man. I wish.
We're joined by a special guest today, Demarlon Gardner, a former college classmate of mine. He's been on for past episodes discussing, NBA playoff topics and back again this year. Thank you so much for being back on, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Pleasure to be back, man. Always good conversations, man, about what's going on in the sports world. So, man, glad to be back.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And in the first half, we're going to do a review of NBA topics. In the second half, me and Savon are going to do some album reviews and do a movie review of Gone Girl at the end. But to start off with thoughts on the Pacers and Knicks game last night, the Pacers won 116-103. Siakam finished with 25 points and 7 rebounds. Miles Turner also added 17 points. And this has been a really back and forth series, obviously, with what the Knicks did for the first 2 games, and the Pacers were able to bounce back. And so many times we've seen ebbs and flows with the series. Even Halliburton hasn't been like his same self for the first half, but it's kind of picked it up in the second half. To you, Marlon, what have you thought about this series? And also, like, who do you give the edge to in this game 7? Because this Knicks team to me is like one of the grittiest teams we've had in a while. Like, they keep losing players, but they find a way to win games. Thibodeau has this system where he's going to keep plugging guys in. But what have kind of been your overall thoughts?
Yeah, man, this series is kind of odd. It's weird because the fact that New York is still in this series is unreal to me. Like you said, the grit that this team plays with, the just fire that they have, man, is crazy. Because I went into this thinking that Pacers were going to win the series in 6.
Really?
And, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, and that's just because they have it all. They have the big man, they have the point guard, they have the shooters, they have the vets, the bench, man. It's and just the Knicks won't go away. And I think the biggest difference is, man, those guys like Josh Hart, who's been stepping up, who was at one point leading this playoff in rebounds or second in
Yes.
rebounds as a guard, and that's just crazy. So just the fact that you have those hustle guys on that team, and Brunson going for 40 here and 35 there, and it's just amazing to see one player who's had so much success on offense be able to carry a team to where they're at, like you said, with all of the injuries to them. But going back to who's going to win this game 7, I got to get an edge to the old Knicks, man.
Yeah.
The Knicks going back for game 7 against the rival Indiana Pacers in Madison Square Garden.
This is a throwback 90s series. This is like a throwback 90s
series.
series.
It's going to be unreal. That environment is going to be unreal, and I don't think the Pacers are going to get out of there alive.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't see it. And it's interesting, Savon, because Rick Carlisle has constantly mentioned like the Pacers not playing with aggression, not being aggressive like they were,
Yes.
like they didn't show in game 5. This one, they showed a lot more aggression. To you, what are going to be the keys? Like, we all think the Knicks are going to win, but what are the keys that you think the Pacers can deliver if they are able to steal this road win?
The offense can't go through Pascal Siakam. It cannot. They're better without running it through him. And again, Halliburton has to be the guy. 15 points the last game. Yeah, they won. And it's still, the offense still made it a couple times because Pascal Siakam is not a guy you run the offense through. Yes, he's progressed over the years. He's done some great things, but Halliburton has to be the guy that everything flows through, because once he's going, he's getting aggressive, then the offense, they can run, they can do a lot more things without having to slow the offense down. They don't do well with slowing the offense down and playing old school basketball with Pascal Siakam. And to be honest with you, I didn't think the Pacers was going to even make it out alive. It's looking like the Knicks are set to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and play the Celtics, and everything has been set up for them to do that. Because I had them not even making out the first round of the playoffs. Sometimes you got to eat the crow.
Mention it, Savon, mention it.
And you know the reasons why I said that. Come on now. If Joel Embiid was healthy and some other things transpired the way it should have in that series, the Knicks would be at home. And then they get a Pacers team who's inconsistent on every game, and it's just so much inconsistency with that team. I know they have the big man, they have the point guard, but their best player, it gets in a slump where he doesn't want to shoot. He gets passive. What I said the other time, passive aggressive. He passed first
Mhm.
instead of being aggressive and trying to score. Because I think first half he had 27 or 20 some points, and then third quarter he had like 4 points, and then third quarter and then fourth quarter I think he went 5 for 10. So
Yeah.
he's always inconsistent, and this Pacers team is still young. They're still trying to find their identity. So it's a lot of unanswered questions for that team. I think it's gearing down for the Knicks. They haven't been to this moment in a long, long time, and Jalen Brunson is that guy. Solidify himself
Yes.
as a guy who can lead a team with all these injuries. And again, they are missing some of their prominent players, and I think that's the most impressive part about it. So I have to eat crow. I think they're going to beat the Pacers the game 7. But let's hats off to the NBA this year in this postseason.
Oh, it's been
This
so good.
has been it's been really good. And the Celtics, the first 2 games going to coast against the Knicks because they just
Of
had to go
course.
game 7, and then they did game 6 the first, went to 6 games in the first playoff. So it's going to be crazy.
We might as well ask. We might as well ask one of the biggest fans of the Celtics, Marlon. How do you foresee that series going? Because we've talked about
Yeah,
it so many times, me and Savon, about how the Celtics. I
yeah,
think they play down to their level of competition sometimes, and they
Absolutely.
can look like the best team any day of the week, honestly, because they have all of the athletes, all of the intangibles to be able to win at the biggest stage. To you, what do you think might be the key in that Eastern Conference Finals if it ends up being the Knicks and Celtics?
yeah. So the biggest key in that series is going to be our guard play and our guard play
Absolutely.
defensively.
Absolutely.
And that's going to come down to us rotating Drew Holiday and Derek White
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
Brunson. We can't let one man beat us. We cannot. So it's going to come down to, can we check Brunson and can we get better play out of White, who's been playing phenomenal last couple years in the playoffs, man. And then the new addition of Drew Holiday, which who's already a champion. He has that, mindset. He's been there before. So having that guy step up as a leader, and
Hmm.
hey,
Hmm.
get under these guys like Tatum, who's known for being soft in the playoffs and taking games off, and Jalen Brown, who's inconsistent at times. I
Got the
Man,
just
richest contract. Got the richest
yeah,
contract in all
richest
season history.
contract.
yes,
Like I don't know why.
yes,
It's
three hundred
crazy.
million dollar guy. I need you to play like it. So,
Absolutely.
so I
Yeah,
think that's going to be the biggest difference. And if we can do that, man, I think we'll be all right. Because I can live with Josh Hart scoring 20 points, but I can't have Brunson scoring 40 and Josh Hart scoring 20. So, we gotta. That's going to be the biggest thing is that guard play, and just like I said, somebody stepping up and being the leader and putting a
mhm,
fire on these guys and saying, "Hey, we got to come playing. We're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. This is the last step before the final boss
yeah.
in the conference championship or in the NBA Finals." So we got to just have that mentality and not let Brunson beat us.
Absolutely. But before we move on, though, because I mean, we might as well first mention Minnesota Denver because that series that's
Sure.
another game 7. That's another game 7 that we're gonna have, and they were able to win by 45 behind Anthony Edwards, 27 points. Jaden McDaniels
Whoa.
also added 21 points and a great defensive performance. This is also the largest winning margin in a postseason game since 2015.
Hmm.
And man, from the jump, they were, I mean, they were full scheme forward, full scheme ahead. They did not look back at once they had the urgency from the jump. And when the Nuggets weren't knocking down their perimeter shots, that's when I knew, okay, this is going to be a long night. Like Michael
Hmm.
Porter Jr., he's been extremely consistent. He wasn't knocking down shots. Murray, who I think is can be like just one of the most unstoppable offensive players, was not shooting well.
Hmm.
But looking at this series now, it's game 7. Anthony Edwards said, "Hey, I told them we're gonna be back." Games. I love his post game press conference. He said, "I told them I'm gonna be back."
Yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah.
but looking at this game though, game 7, and both sides of it, because I'm gonna be honest, I still got Denver. I still got Denver, but Savon is like, no,
No,
Marlon, who do you?
that
No,
Lakers.
I'm going with them young bucks, man.
Okay, okay,
them Wolves, dog. And I know it's in Denver. I know they're the reigning champs, but man, 45-point
Yeah,
beat down like that. I think it's I think it's gonna be a dogfight. I think it'll be a really close game, and I think this series the Timberwolves have done a great job at slowing down Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon is played out of his mind this series. Had some really good games, but
absolutely.
I think you continue to focus on. You're not going to stop Jokic at all because you just there's no
No.
way you can stop him, but you can slow him down. Um, but I think the difference is going to be is if they can keep Jamal Murray the way they've been having him and not let him get have a great second half as he's been doing in the playoffs, especially against the Lakers where he's terrible in the first half, second half lights out. Like it's unreal. So I think it's gonna come down to Ant-Man stepping up and putting the team on his back, man. I don't think he's coming in to lose. I don't think he's coming in there to lose.
He definitely has been to me the most impressive playoff performer this
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
postseason, without a
Him
doubt.
and Brunson, man.
Yeah, him and Brunson, yeah, those are the top two. Those are the top two because he's put the league on notice that hey,
For
I'm here
sure.
for the taking. I mean, swept Phoenix, beat his favorite player in KD.
Which is
Yeah. Now
crazy.
that is
That was
crazy.
That
crazy.
was nuts. That was
That's
nuts.
crazy.
I didn't expect
I
Phoenix
did
to get
not
swept.
expect that.
Not to get swept.
I
We
did
weren't fans of Phoenix, but to get swept, that was
Yeah,
different.
that
Um, yeah, definitely. To you, Savon, though, what are you are high on this Minnesota team? You think they're going to
yeah,
win this game seven? You're
absolutely,
fully convinced. What are the
absolutely.
reasons from Savon's corner that this is going to happen?
Save us corner. A couple things. This is that game six isn't the new for us. If you're watching the series throughout the first two games, that's exactly what they did. They closed out. They were instinctive. Everybody was helping out. Everybody was closing out, playing double teams, playing fast. Obviously, game 4 or 5, you get a little tired, and then the Denver Nuggets can come on and shoot exceptionally well. We said they'll get out when they went to Minnesota. They'll at least get one game. They got two of those games. Did not see that coming. The shooting, we said if Michael Porter Jr., who's man one of the best spot up shooters and contested shot shooters in the NBA, if he's on, then it's a whole different ball game. And I feel like Jokic had a terrible game. He was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line, and then Jamal Murray was like 4 for 19. But I think we all know that the common denominator is Jokic. If he can get these guys going and start facilitating like he normally does, then they'll start getting motion. They'll get to their positions. They love moving the ball. I think they're probably top 5 moving the ball and getting perfect and good shots. But the Timberwolves is closing out and playing great defense. I think that's the biggest. I think a lot of teams haven't played hasn't were aggressive against them. And Timberwolves are the top 5 defense in the NBA.
hmm
So it shows every time when they're rejuvenated and Ant was like, okay, and I see a little Michael Jordan in there, like
I
it's
mean,
in there.
Yeah.
It's coming. So when Ant is fully fired up, the whole team is gonna be right behind him. And to be able to the defending champs 45 points, man, that's unheard of, bro.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's game 7. It's a lot on
That's
the stake. This young team really wants it, and I think they're gonna do the same exact thing they did the previous game. They're gonna close out. They're gonna play great defense. They're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna make them shoot. And once again, Houston. When it was, I think it was the Houston Rockets. They live by the 3. They die by the 3. The same thing with the Denver Nuggets. If they're not on, if they're not shooting good from the 3-point percentage, they're not a really good team. When they make it, oh, it's bang,
I don't
bang,
know, man.
bang. But it,
Jokic at home though. Jokic at home. I
yeah.
mean,
I,
we know
I
he's
hear
gonna
you.
be. We know he's gonna put together a masterful performance at
Oh
home, and
yeah.
those role players
he
play
he
better
he
at
gonna
Oh
home.
need
yeah.
to. He's
And
gonna need to.
of course,
It's gonna have
just
to
So,
be
don't
a
make it on it.
40-point triple double.
It
absolutely,
has to. It has to.
absolutely.
And is gonna put up 40 plus. And is definitely gonna put up 40 plus.
Yeah.
So, man,
He, so uh,
what's going
what?
on?
Give me a guesstimate of the score. Give me a guesstimate of the score.
Mm.
Can you give me a guesstimate?
I'm saying it's gonna be 103 to
That's not bad.
96.
That's not
103
bad.
96.
That's where I was.
Yeah.
I don't see them anybody like getting over 101.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lower scoring game for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one or two guys are gonna go off.
Hmm.
One or two guys are gonna go off. So
I just don't see Jamal Murray going
no,
crazy.
not that guy. I think it's gonna be Jokic and Ant.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
Those are going to be
sure.
the
Jokic,
two. It's going to be
Jokic.
it's going to be a back and forth
Mm-hmm.
type game between those two.
Yep. And then the rest have 5 points here, 10 points there, maybe 12.
Absolutely.
That's how
The
it's gonna be.
I mean,
Get
who
out the
knows?
way. Get out the
Who
way.
knows? Jamal Murray might knock down another like half court buzzer beater like he
So,
did. And
yeah.
Yeah, that game was
Oh
just
my
it
God,
was their
dog.
game, bro. It was
that was
just
just
their
their game.
game.
Yeah, they couldn't miss. It was just like God.
Yeah,
But
but Minnesota, you both of you got Minnesota. Both are sticking to it.
for
Minnesota,
sure. For sure.
without doubt.
Wellington's
For
Wild
sure.
Zone has
Eyes on
Denver.
For sure.
Denver.
For
Wellington
sure.
Wild Zone has Denver.
And
uh,
look, I said this after Denver won those 3 games in a row. I was like, oh dang, man. Is it gonna happen? And they had the
are they gonna win
momentum,
four
but
straight?
then they got smacked in the face
Yeah,
in that game 6.
it's hard
I was
to
like, okay, these young boys ain't going away. So
Definitely
at
yeah,
home though.
yeah,
at home.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter if they at this series doesn't matter who has the home
it
field
No,
doesn't.
advantage
it didn't matter
at
at all.
all.
It didn't
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
matter at all, man. So
it's rare to see a team lose their first two home games, then win the
yeah,
next two.
it's crazy.
Right.
It's
It's pretty
crazy. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting though. It's gonna
rare.
be interesting. So
And now moving on to the Dallas and OKC series, the Mavericks won Game 5 by 12, and Luka scored had a 31-point triple double. Derrick Jones Jr. scored a playoff career high 19 points, and PJ Washington also added 10 points and 10 rebounds. And man, this is another series that has been unpredictable in a sense because OKC
Hmm.
back stealing that Game 4 in which I think Dallas really gave it away. Luka
oh yeah.
some key free throws. They should have been up 3-1 honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and then OKC isn't able to win back at home. Luca has played very well when Kyrie hasn't, because I think Kyrie the last few games has not looked like himself.
Hmm.
And with OKC, like my thing with OKC was like I was waiting for the series where they like played like a real team, like
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because like they're still
Mm-hmm.
young, like they're a really good team, but they haven't like faced that deep playoff run, and the Mavericks have. But to you, to you, Marlon, how do you feel about this series playing out? And also, do you think OKC is going to extend it, or does Dallas close it out tonight?
Yeah. Man, this series is been kind of weird in a sense where OKC starts out dropping one. They win the first game at home, drop one, and then go back to Dallas, and you think it's over because, like you said, Dallas goes up and ties it. Then they end up in that game 4. You think they won the game, and Luca misses 2 free throws. I was like, "Oh, LeBron all over again, missing clutch free throws at the end of a
Oh
closeout
man,
game." But no, I think this series is gonna go to 7, man. I just think
really?
OKC is. Hold on, my mic is muted a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still good.
Oh my God, Siri is talking to me. All right, good, good. But yeah, I think it's gonna go to 7 because man, I think the young guys are feeling that pressure with that number 1 seed. A lot of folks at the beginning of this playoff series, like they're the worst
Yeah.
number 1 seed in the history of
Yeah.
the NBA, and I
Which
think
is wild.
yeah, it's wild. They're feeling that pressure, so I think they're gonna force a game 7, man, and I think Shea's gonna have a big game, and Jalen Williams hasn't really played to his full potential, man. And I think he has some stuff left in the tank. So I think if he can get going, Chet hasn't played to his full potential. I think if he can get going as well, man, I think they can force a game 7. But on the other end, man, you got a champion in Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
arguably the most skilled player in the history of the game. You
Hmm.
got Mr. Triple Double Luca over there, who's man, he's starting
So,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
going.
Talk about Luka.
Yeah,
Talk about Luka. Savon doesn't
yeah.
want to hear it. Talk about Luka. Yeah.
Man, play defense. How about that? Play defense.
Look, yeah, yeah, I agree with the defensive part, but man, Luca is
He's an
doing
exceptional scorer. Yeah.
he's scoring that ball like this, and people don't realize his knee is still hurt. He's still playing hurt,
Playing on one.
playing on one knee, man. So,
Okay, fellas.
so,
Savon, no, he
Okay,
cannot.
fellas.
Marlon, you are seeing it. He cannot hide
Okay.
the hate for Luca. He cannot
bro,
I'm
hide the
not
hate for
no,
Luca.
why,
bro. No.
why,
I do not
why,
hate Luca. Well, listen, this is that don't start that narrative. I've already gave
why?
Luca his flowers. I already gave Luca his flowers. But I'm not you don't have to get into that. You know
No,
why
no.
I really don't like Luca's game. Because he's one-dimensional. He's not a two-way player. And most
I
times they
agree.
need a two-way player.
I
And his
disagree.
defense is so okay. Continue. Continue, Marlon.
I, I,
Continue.
I agree with that he's not a two-way player, but man, that scoring and facilitating makes up for it. It makes
No,
up
it doesn't.
for it. It
It
Overwhelming.
does
does.
It's
not.
overwhelming.
It does.
It's not, bro.
Like if Dallas gets the ball moving around and swinging, man,
Hmm.
that
It's
offense is
lights out.
unstoppable. But I agree. In this series, he's gonna have to play some defense. Like he's gonna have to play some defense
The
in order to win.
next series he's gonna have to play. If they make it
Oh
out, he's
yeah,
gonna play
Yeah,
the
yeah,
defense.
next series,
yeah,
it's gonna
for
yeah,
sure.
They're
So
gonna
especially
ISO
against
him.
Denver. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
gonna
Denver's gonna be
yeah.
ISO
scary.
him and kill him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, that's figuratively, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not take what we say on this
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
serious.
But no, it's I think OKC's going force it to 7 just because they got all that weight, man. The number 1 seed in the West, the young guys, nobody knows them. So yeah, it's gonna be good. But I think ultimately Dallas wins and moves on to the next series. But I think they get smacked.
Yeah, I got Dallas. Yeah,
So
Oh,
Dallas is moving on. Well, Savon,
no, no,
she
no,
said no.
defend
He
OKC,
said no.
defend
no,
OKC,
no, no.
defend the Young Thunder.
The young Thunder.
OKC will make it to the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh,
The NBA
ooh,
Finals.
ooh. That's a
Yes,
hey,
What are
that's
you?
a hot take right there.
That's a
I'm
hot
telling
take.
you.
Yeah,
A
it's
hot
too hot of
take.
a
I
take.
have OKC and the Celtics in the NBA Finals.
I
Dang,
don't want to see that
that's
series. I don't
crazy.
want to see that.
Who you got winning that finals?
Celtics gonna win it
Okay,
all this year.
okay.
Celtics
Wow,
gonna
that's
win it all
that's
this year.
so you saying OKC right now is going to
Watch
happen.
this. Watch this, bro. Watch this. They were they just didn't shoot well that night. And they were getting finding holes in the Mavericks defense. And I think the biggest one was Derrick Jones scoring his playoff high 19 points. And then PJ Washington, 10 points, 10 rebounds, attributing when Kyrie wasn't. But I think they just didn't shoot well. OKC didn't shoot well. They were getting to the bucket. They were getting to their spots. It just wasn't on. It's not
Mhm.
like the Mavericks are like blowing them out and just outplaying them. They're just not that night. They just didn't shoot well. And you see the first couple of games, it's been very close. And if OKC is shooting well, like everybody, I think Luke Dort went 3 for 10 from the 3-point line. Normally he's a above average 3-point shooter. He's a 3-point
Mhm.
guy. Then Home Green didn't play well. So I think there's a lot of things that tested that. They were getting in their zones, getting to those points, getting to their spots. It just wasn't shooting well. I think OKC is a better team. They don't have the experience, but I do think they're the real number 1 in the West. And that's hard to say with all these teams, Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, and they're still with this young team, they're still going to force in game 7. And then
Mhm.
they're going to move on. They're going to play the Timberwolves, and then they're going to beat the Timberwolves. Here they are now. They're going to beat the Timberwolves, and they're going to lose to the Celtics. Because I
Now,
think the Celtics is the most dominant team, not just in the West. I've never seen Derek White, a type of player like Derek White, turn it up like that in 2 years.
yeah,
I've never
yeah.
seen Jason Tatum realize, hey, I don't have to shoot three-pointers. I'm going to be aggressive all this year. That's the
Mhm.
difference. He's more aggressive. Jaylen Brown, whatever. Jason Tatum, when he's aggressive, getting to the rim, making them play defense, making his free throws, I think that's when the Celtics are very dangerous, and they got some spot up shooters. But anywho, mark my words, OKC is making it out of this, bro.
Man,
I'm just stunned. You're
hot take,
picking.
hot take,
It's like you're.
hot
So
take,
you're really saying the way OKC is looking that they're better than Minnesota.
hot take.
They're better than
Absolutely.
Minnesota and Denver.
So,
Absolutely.
wow. So you
Just
saying it?
look at how everything's set up.
This is the youngest squad in NBA history, and you think they're going to
Absolutely.
the final? This
But
is like the youngest playoff squad.
Timberwolves playing Denver
Hmm.
was the best thing that happened to OKC. The best thing. That those two match up really well. Taking Denver out makes it easier for OKC. And then we seen even when Edwards played lights out, everybody else is underwhelming.
Yeah, he
When
had a 40-point
OKC
game and they lost.
when OKC is everybody's flowing, they're happy, they're into it, they put teams away. That's why they were the number one team in the West. They can put teams away, but they have to get that confidence back. Because I think with the inexperience, you have to have that leader. They don't have a veteran guy. They don't, I mean, the coach can pump you up or whatever, but they don't have that veteran guy like, look, we've been here before. This is what it takes to get past this hump. This is what it takes to be the more experienced team. They don't have that. They have to figure that out in the series. And I think they do it this game because it's do or die. They have to force it to game 7 to even get out alive. So I think they'll figure it out. They'll start shooting well and they'll get past it. I think they're a better team than the Timberwolves. Are they an overall better team than Denver Nuggets? No, not saying that. I'm just saying the Denver Nuggets not going to make it out the Timberwolves, and they ain't going to have to see them. Now, if the Denver Nuggets make it out, OKC not going to the NBA Finals.
Exactly. That's
Okay,
it.
okay,
Cancels.
okay,
It
okay,
cancels
okay,
out.
I'm
okay.
saying the Timberwolves is going to beat them, so they don't have to worry about the Denver Nuggets. Because if they
Yeah,
see the Denver Nuggets, they're not obviously they're not going to. I'm not
yeah,
crazy, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen.
Okay,
See,
We got
see what I'm saying?
okay.
See what I'm saying?
okay.
It's just opportune.
I can see
Like,
that. I can see
yeah,
that.
Timberwolves
Yeah,
playing the
It
Nuggets.
would be the ideal scenario for
yeah. Oh
Minnesota
yeah,
to win
perfect. Yeah,
if
perfect
Absolutely.
OKC
scenario for
wins it.
them.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
be ideal.
yeah,
It
Absolutely.
would be
for sure.
ideal.
Yeah.
I'm not that crazy. I was looking at it like, wait,
No, I was like, hold
no,
on.
Yeah, I
no,
was
no, no,
wondering.
no,
I
no,
was
no,
wondering.
no.
I was wondering.
No. The Denver Nuggets playing Timberwolves, they're not gonna
Okay,
make it out. So they'll
I
have
got
to play the more
you. Yeah, yeah,
overall better
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
The Wolves
Definitely.
definitely the easier team. I would want the Wolves over the Nuggets for sure,
There you go.
for sure,
That's what I'm talking about.
for sure.
so 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 you see this one going 7, obviously,
Yeah.
Savon with OKC. Like in terms of a game 7 for OKC, because I mean this is their first deep playoff run. They're in it. They're going to be in a game 7 against Dallas if they win tonight. Do you do you fully expect them? Do you have no doubt that okay, we know Shea's going to step up. We know Shea is going to do what he's going to do. But is there any like key X factor on that team besides those two that you think like really has to step up to be able to win a game 7 against Dallas?
The rest of the team, they shot only, I think, 42% as a team. Normally they shoot over 50% as a team.
Mm,
And Dallas Mavericks shot, I think, 52.8% as a team. So normally that's what they do. They just didn't shoot well. Everybody like Dort, Holmgreen, those guys who normally on even Giddy off the bench comes on, at least averages 15 points off the bench. So those guys was not shooting well. I think with everybody we've seen when all of them are on or all of them are getting into action, they can put teams away and put games away. So it has to be an overall team effort because that's how they got here. An overall team effort. Everybody buying in. We're young, but we're a very talented team, and we had to build this thing because we were comparing them to the Warriors, possibly dynasty, how they built that team from the ground up
Hmm.
and went on to be able to obtain greatness and win championships and get other guys to come in and out. But I think
right.
OKC as a team effort, that's how they got here. That's how they're going to have to get to the next stage of the postseason. But everybody has to contribute, not just one or two
Hmm.
players. Everybody, because that's how they got here. If you can't deviate from the plan, and then they're going to figure out the inexperience. How do we do that by playing the same exact way we got here and remembering that we're better as a team unit, not just Shea getting 30 points or 40 points, everybody contributing and shooting high from the percentage.
Man, I'm really the outsider on this episode. I got Dallas winning tonight. I got Denver winning game 7, man. I don't know what
You
after
love
these two
Denver.
games. I do. I think they're going to win it all
Yeah.
again. I think they're going to
You
repeat.
what?
Yes, I do.
Now
I
that's
do.
a hot take. Now that's a hot take.
Is it? Is it? Because hey, let's
Absolutely.
talk about Boston's history. Let's talk about Boston's history. How in those game 2s, you've seen them, Marlon. In those game 2s, when they
Oh
should be
yeah,
crushing
yeah.
teams, they blow the most obvious wins that they should have.
Well,
It happens every year. That's the
last
history
year
Every year,
goes
Jason
though.
against
Tatum
Boston.
went out. Jason
I'm telling
Tatum
you,
went out
history
last
goes
year.
against Boston. It goes against Boston. I mean, they should win it, but I trust if it's in the finals, I trust Denver more than I do Boston. That's not a hot take.
That
Like
is a
Denver,
hot take.
it's how it
That's a
when is
hot
Boston
take, bro.
last time Boston's won a title? Tell me. Oh wait.
That's
Oh
cool.
wait,
That's
like
cool. But when they got to the final last year, when they got to the finals, Jason Tatum went down. Jaylen Brown was not existent. Derek White wasn't the same player he was this year. There's a lot of other moving pieces for the Celtics. I think this year, even with their record, they showed, hey, we can take games off and still put people away. Derek White is one, like, that's the difference. Derek White has been the difference for the
he
Celtics.
has been.
I've
He's that
never
Yeah.
guy.
seen him spot up confident last year. Boom, knock it down.
Mm.
Come down here. Oh, I never see him try to do a heat check last year. Never. Like, I watched a bunch of Celtics guys. I've never seen him like back to back. Like, I don't care what play we run it. I'm about to come down here and shoot. This a difference in the Celtics team. They can take games off and still put people away. Denver has been struggling this whole postseason. Jamal
Yeah,
Murray
I
has
agree.
not been consistent like he was last year. Jokic is the same way. Michael Porter Jr., which is the more consistent shooter, has had taken games off and shot terribly. So you're
I mean,
telling
they won the
me
Lakers series in 5. They won the Lakers series in 5 because they knew.
But
the
every game they were
Lakers,
down.
bro, but they
The
still
Lakers still.
And so,
struggled.
but look, so was last year in the Western Conference Finals. Every game was close, and they still swept them. So I mean, it's just like when
That's
you're
a
a
total
better team, you're a
difference.
better team.
Yeah.
Nah, last year was different.
Yeah, last year was
They
different.
had so much time to rest throughout because they were the better team last year. They was the best team in the NBA. Obviously, they won the championship. But how
Yeah.
they were coasting and waiting for the next team. Lakers went through so many series where they had to go to 6 or 7, and then you get to a
Yeah,
more dominant team, and then you really can't do nothing. And most of those games were close still. But this year, those guys have struggled as a unit from Jokic all the way down to KCP. I feel like they struggled. They haven't showed they're dominant. Like they'll go 2 games, like show who we are, and then boom, 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 boom. Because if they were really the most dominant team, Timberwolves, they would have took care of the Timberwolves that game 6. It would not be a game 7. If they were this dominant and you're this confident in them, they would have took them out.
I
Because the
didn't
game
say they're the
before,
most. I said I still think they're the best team. I didn't say they're the most
they're
dominant.
not.
I,
They're
I didn't
not the
say they're
best
the
team.
most dominant. We'll
But
find out.
that's
We'll find
what.
out Sunday night. We'll find out Sunday night.
Oh my goodness, Wellington.
We will.
Wellington,
We will.
Wellington. We definitely will.
Yeah.
Now, I want a formal apology.
Of course, of course. I will get on mic. I will get on mic and apologize to the Timberwolves. I will. And all of them.
Yeah.
But we already mentioned the Lakers. They are in the news currently because of a new
Why?
coaching
Oh
search.
yeah. Okay.
No.
And Mr. JJ Redick. JJ Redick has been named the top guy. Obviously, him and LeBron have the podcast. Many people have said a guy who's on the production company who my brother knows even told my brother that he's like, look, this was just a job interview. This was a coaching job interview. This whole podcast. He feels as though a lot of people feel as though like this is what it was. This is what it was building up to. And it's interesting because the cons in it I see more of than the pros because
Absolutely.
JJ has no coaching experience. I mean,
Nope.
he's never been in this type of environment before. Obviously, he has a
Talk
great
about
Man.
basketball mind, but to be able to translate it to actual, an NBA season, and then when you
Wellington.
hit a wall, it's like, do we really have the same respect for you that we would like a seasoned coach? To you, Marlon, what have been your thoughts on these headlines, and also just what do you think it could actually end up being?
Yeah. Yeah. First thing that came to my mind is Brooklyn Nets. Steve
Yeah,
Nash.
Steve Nash. That's what I go to.
All over again.
Excellent point.
Yep.
Excellent point.
All over again. And I think if they end up hiring JJ Redick, it's going to be that situation all over again. I don't think the guys are going to have the level of respect, like you said, as they would as a veteran coach. Someone like a Ty Lue or like that is going to be uh, typical LeBron's the coach. And he's drawing
Absolutely.
up plays on the sideline.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
think LeBron would love to do that again, but I don't think he needs that for his career. I think he
No.
needs somebody that's going to call him out, that's
Yes.
going to challenge him, and
Mm-hmm.
not give him his way. Because I think that's what's been happening with the last three head coaches that they've had where he's been able to run the show. He's been able to not get checked, and I think they need somebody to come in that's going to check him, especially at this point in his career.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, you've done this long enough. Now let somebody actually coach. And I know Tyronn
Yeah.
Lue, he would do it with at the Cavs, and you see they won the championship. So I think he needs
Mhm.
somebody like that, and I think they just need to stop with this JJ Redick thing. I think it needs to stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just don't get it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense to me because it's just like I understand like it's the alluring, it's the like entertaining pick because JJ has
Yeah.
become, he's really come hot on the scene with sports media, and he has, he's great at analyzing breakdowns. He calls games, does all that. But I'm like that doesn't translate to, oh, I can actually get
Mhm.
in the day to day grind with players. And like Steve Nash, he trained KD, but I'm like that's not going to be the same when you're in a game seven and you're having to like challenge your
No,
player. Like,
exactly.
like my question is, what's going to happen when JJ has to challenge LeBron? Like, when's that gonna? Like, there's no mics, there's no podcast. You're having to really
Right.
just challenge each other.
Exactly.
I just don't see it working. But to you,
Nope.
Savon, what have kind of been your initial thoughts with it?
Yeah, it was interesting when they started the podcast, and that should have been a red flag too. Like JJ Redick and LeBron started a podcast. Out of all the people,
He's
I mean, I
strategic.
was yeah, outside all the people to start a podcast with, you did JJ Redick, and I'm pretty sure they had a conversation. And it does like make the makeup like, oh, this is an interview. I want to see your IQ of basketball, and I want to see if I can gel with you. But LeBron James is only one person. You got to gel with what 15 other people on the team. You got to gel. You got to get the right staff because they fired the entire staff. It's so much that goes into being a head coach, and you don't have the experience at all. Not even being an assistant coach. Not even starting at the high school level or the collegiate level. Like your
Yeah,
first job is the LA
the
Lakers.
most pressurized
Exactly.
NBA situation
Exactly.
overall in the
This ain't gonna
league.
make
Like,
you a diamond. This that
No.
being head coach of the Lakers is not gonna make you a diamond. That's a lot of pressure. And I don't think JJ Redick, and you could tell he taking the heat from just being a media personnel, he's not gonna be able to take that heat with being a Lakers head coach. Just he's not gonna be able to take that heat. He's not gonna take the questions. I think the friction is gonna begin to get friction between him and LeBron James and other players because if I don't care if LeBron respects you, I gotta respect you. I don't care if your IQ of
Hmm.
basketball is high. Can you be a internal public relations head coach? Can you build morale? Can you get this team to be cohesive? Can you make them believe in what you're selling? And I don't think JJ Redick as a coach who doesn't have the experience can do that. Now, I do think the upside is the IQ of basketball and listening to him talking about basketball. He has that knowledge. But again, Wellington, I don't think it would translate to him being the Lakers head coach. It's too much pressure. There's too many moving factors. And then even if they get Bronny, yeah, it's going to be a whole different dynamic. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that.
This is a
No.
circus. This is a whole circus with how it's just going.
Yeah.
It's chaos. It sounds like a very chaotic season that they're setting themselves up for. It's more questions than answers. Even if you get JJ, like,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm not gonna blame JJ Redick for taking the job if he does, because look, having a Lakers coaching job as a prestigious position. I
My
mean,
first job?
I
Yeah.
understand that, but I'm saying if
No.
they call him and ask him, I'd be surprised if he said no. I don't think
Oh, he's
I
going to
don't think
take
it's gonna
that.
work. He's gonna take that, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm
First,
saying, like
yeah.
you're saying, Tavon, for your first job, that is not the head coaching gig you want.
No.
That's not how you want to
Yeah.
start off.
No.
That's not how
But
you want
I think he'll take it because my first head coaching job is the Lakers. I don't care how I got it.
to.
It's the
Yeah,
Lakers, bro. And then even if I give them above 500, that's a win.
Yeah.
Because this is my first coaching gig. And I got LeBron James, I got all these guys, and I get them above 500, which is okay. We don't know if that's gonna happen. But I do think, yeah, if it's his first head coaching job, he's gonna take that. Wellington, if the Lakers called you,
that's what Tyler told me. Hold up. We literally are just the same. We were at our at a lunch after my niece's graduation. We were talking, and I said, "Man, should he really take it?" He said, "Wellington, if we're at lunch today and Rob Pelinka calls you, say, hey man, I love the podcast. Hope you're doing well. You want to be the Lakers coach? He said, you're going to take that. You're going to take
In
He's
a
like, you're going to take
heartbeat.
that and you're going to get your things ready.
And I'm going to make sure you take that. What are you talking about? And hire me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bring you on.
I don't care if I'm the water
exactly.
boy. Hire me.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's turning
Yeah.
that job down.
Absolutely not.
No, not at all, not at all. But I will say this also: a few days ago, LeBron he was at the game 4 of the Cavs, and it was raising eyebrows. We were like, oh, like what's he doing there? Is there any potential that you guys think LeBron ends his career with Cleveland for one more stint? Is there any
Mm,
potential he closes it out with Cleveland?
I'll let you go first, Marlon.
no,
You got
I don't think so. I think he's settled in California. He's there for Hollywood. His son was there in
Yeah,
college, and I think he has the chance to, or he's at an organization that he's controlling. So I think they're going
right.
to draft his son. Probably not the
He's like,
first pick, but yeah, but it should they shouldn't. But I think that's what's going to end up happening. And but I think he ends it in LA. I think he ends it in LA.
what do you think, Savon? What do
you
you think?
know the flip side of that car. I feel like De
Side of the coin.
Niro. No, just think about this. Bronny said if he doesn't go and get drafted, he's gonna go back to college. He could go to Ohio State.
Hmm.
And LeBron James could go to Cleveland because they have some pieces there, and he could take a pay cut. He's made so much money. I don't think at this point he just wants to play with his son. And the Cavaliers said they will be willing to draft Bronny. Now, LeBron James has a player option. He can either choose it or not, and I think he's going to wait till the last minute. But there is a possibility he could end his career with the
Yeah,
Cavaliers.
close
I
it out.
think I think that'd be a great idea to
And I
end
mean,
your
they
career,
got a good unit. They got a good unit. You still got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland.
which is
You,
underwhelming. I wanted to ask you about that, but I know we're pressing. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is underwhelming. But I'm saying like I think everything LeBron does is very strategic, and for
yeah,
him going to that game, even though Rich Paul apparently called the Lakers the day before and let them know, hey, we're going to be at the game. Nothing's going on. Just was trying to clear up things before, but still, the image of that and the perception of it, it's going to look a certain way, and people are going to be like, all right, like there's no way he's just going there just to go there.
yeah, and
This
you
isn't
would
this isn't a Cavs team we thought we're going to go to the finals.
absolutely not because there's Garland, all the
Yeah.
supporting cast was just non-existent
Hmm.
throughout the series. But you're there with your wife.
Yeah.
And then the WashCon was like in within the weeks. The
Right.
draft scouting thing was within combine was in the weeks.
Hmm.
And it just doesn't add up because we talked remember before he left the Cavaliers, we kept saying, "You think he's gonna leave?" Like, nah, he's gonna stay. And he was like, "Don't worry about anything. I want to retire Cavaliers or something like
Yep.
he said." And
And he
then he
went.
went to the Lakers,
Hmm.
bro.
This is kind of feeling like that, like
This
in a
yeah,
reverse flip side way. So
yeah, there's an opportunity because even if they don't draft him right away, Bronny can go to Ohio State because they wanted him to play at Ohio State before he chose USC. So
definitely,
there's a
Yeah,
possibility,
um, always a possibility, always a possibility
especially when it
for
comes
a
to
returning
yeah,
king.
it
LeBron.
is.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah, it
anything
is.
is possible. um,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And get into our last topic with thoughts on kind of the Chiefs Ravens being the first game of the NFL season. That was obviously, Chiefs being the two-time defending champs, people were wondering how that was going to start off, and then you got the Ravens who they lose that AFC championship. Me and Savon have had differing takes on that game and who was the culprit of it. And I'm standing on my side of it, but
The
you
06.
also we also got the Texans, Cowboys, Chiefs, Niners, Texans, Jets, Eagles, Bengals, 49ers, Dolphins. Those are some other interesting games this year. But to you, Marlon, what are your thoughts on Chiefs Ravens being the first game of the year, and are there any other standouts this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think that's a great first matchup. Uh,
Yeah,
Potential, I mean, heavyweight fight between Lamar Jackson and you know Patrick Mahomes, and I think Lamar's gonna have a little fire under him because this was supposed to be the year. or last
Yes.
year was supposed to be the year for the Ravens to get
Absolutely.
over that hump and Lamar Jackson to get his first Super Bowl. Got the MVPs, but got to get the Super Bowls, man. And I think he's gonna come out with some fire under him. Same with Patrick Mahomes coming off of that championship, and I think
Yeah.
they want to come out to a fast start because the past season they started out rocky, very
Very
rocky, and
slow.
there was
Very
questions
slow.
of whether, hey, do they still got it? Is it over?
Mhm.
Like, what are they going to do? And so I think they're going to want to come out smoking, man. Because, like I said, last year it was ugly for them, ugly for them in the beginning.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think it's going to be a great matchup between the two heavyweight quarterbacks, and man, it's I'm looking forward to it.
And I mean, also starting off the season trying to go for a three-peat, which has never been done
Yeah,
before. So I mean, all
Hmm.
exactly,
eyes are going to be that. I mean, all eyes were already going to be on them, but now especially like this is history,
exactly.
potentially in
Yeah,
the making. So everybody's going to get their best shot, and they got Cincinnati the week after.
Hmm.
yeah.
To you,
Two,
Savon,
yeah.
yeah, two back-to-back rivals for them. But to you, Savon, what have kind of been? What are your thoughts on this? That being the first game of the season, and are there any other games? I know you're going to be looking at the Packers games and any other
Absolutely.
intriguing Packers games.
Because I was going to go to that if it wasn't
Yeah.
Brazil. Believe it. But Baltimore and Kansas City. Last year, Kansas City opened up with the Lions, and we saw a glimpse of what the Lions could be. And then
Right.
we saw some red flags from the Kansas City Chiefs. It was not Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't Travis Kelce. It was a lot of drop passes, and the defense play. I think the defense played well, but I think them going against the Baltimore Ravens is such a good matchup because last year we're not gonna get into it, but I thought even with the follies and the things that was supposed to happen on the Ravens side, it was still a good football game and it was a good defensive game. And I think both of these teams has answered a lot of questions in the free agency and in the draft. So yeah, they drafted some wide receivers that dropped a lot of passes in Xavier Worthy from the Texas, but I think they gained so much deep ball threat, guys who can open it up to take away and give Travis Kelsey more opportunities in the other side of the playbook. But I do think this is going to be a good matchup. Lamar Jackson, I think they got the pieces they wanted on offense and defense. It's a lot of answer questions for both squads. So I'm interested to see how it's going to go. First game of the season, the playbook is not going to be very open. There's going to have a minimal playbook, but I do think it's going to be a good ball game. I think both of these teams are going to go down to the wire, and it's going to be a glimpse of what to come later in their season because
For sure.
we saw the matchup in the playoffs last year, and I'm excited. And then Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go.
Yeah, go Pack. Go. I'm not gonna say anything about that, but yeah, go Pack. Go. I'm super excited. Answered a lot of questions on the back end of defense, so I'm super excited on that. But yeah, I think this is the game you have to start with: Baltimore Ravens,
Oh yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs,
That was
OC.
supposed to be the Ravens coordination. Yeah, that was supposed to be the Ravens
hmm
coordination. Yeah.
But it's a testament to Kansas City Chiefs, man. That defense plays.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
got rid of Snead though. That was this biggest asset. But I do think they answered a lot of questions with him going to. I think he went to the Titans. I think Snead went to the Titans. Yeah, he did. He did. He went to Titans.
Man, that's going to be a very entertaining start. Before we close out, though, Marlon, I want to get your official finals pick. Your official. I know you got the Celtics. Who do you have in the West? Please don't say OKC. Please don't
You
say
know
that.
I ain't saying you you
Don't
know I
say
ain't saying
that. I got
OKC.
so much respect for you. I got so much respect
You
for you.
know I ain't saying OKC now.
Wow. It be
Yeah.
your own
Yeah.
people. We go way back like Cadillac. Come on, man.
Hey, definitely not OKC. So I
That's
got
crazy.
I got Boston facing the Timberwolves, man. And I got Boston winning in 6. Yep,
It's not a
Boston in 6.
It's not bad.
that's not a bad pick.
That would be a good series. That would
It's,
definitely
it's
be a
gonna
good
it's gonna be the young team. I know that ain't gonna be the old dudes.
series. Who's old?
Denver's the oldest team right now.
Yeah. They
True.
are. They
True.
are.
Yeah,
But yeah.
they the older teams.
Nah,
Compared to the
somehow
Timberwolves
I
and what's
mean, yeah,
not.
they're like 27,
if
28,
some
but
way somehow Denver makes it
In,
out of this
I
series,
know
but
that's
then I see Boston, Denver, and Boston in 7.
Either way it goes, Boston is winning.
Yes,
Denver and
Boston is
7, book it. Denver and 7, book it. You heard
Denver
it
and
here
said,
first.
yeah,
Or
okay,
7,
all
book it.
right.
Denver
Denver and
7.
said,
That's who you got out. What a surprise.
Denver and said,
Denver.
This is not like everybody's got their different pick. Nobody's picking the same one. Everybody's got a different pick. So we can revisit this in June. We can revisit
yeah,
this in June.
yeah,
We can
Absolutely.
revisit this.
definitely,
OKC in the
definitely.
house, man. Okay. What? No,
Okay,
I
so
do got. But no, I got the Celtics winning though. I got the
But
Celtics winning.
OKC in the finals. OKC in the finals. Okay,
Absolutely, absolutely.
got you, got you, got
Y'all think I'm crazy?
you. Yeah. Hey,
well,
if some way somehow that happens, I respect,
oh,
respect,
for sure. Yeah, yeah. We're
respect,
gonna.
dog.
I'm gonna say you're the smartest person on
Yes,
the
smart.
podcast without a doubt.
Yes,
I'm gonna say yeah.
yes,
It goes to Savon. It goes to Savon. I will
Hey man.
be
yeah.
quiet the rest of the year. I'll be quiet on my predictions.
No, you won't. Even if I'm right, no, you won't.
True. Well,
Yeah,
Marlon, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man, and thank you so much for
Absolutely.
doing
yes,
this.
sir. Oh yeah, man. Appreciate y'all, man, for having me.
Absolutely. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.